friends, Tracy here from the Sewing Channel. Today we are going to maintenance our serger. My serger is made by Brother and it's a 1634D. A lot of sergers are just the same, so you can use this as a guide as you troubleshoot through your serger. Be sure to always check your manual. My manual actually states that I need to oil it once or twice a month. If I use it more often than that, I need to do it once every week. Now, when you go to clean your serger out, you need to make sure that all the lint is gone before you put any oil at all. You're going to need the little tool that came with your serger, the little hex tool, a pair of tweezers, some very light sewing machine oil. It can be any sewing machine oil. I do utilize some Lysol wipes today. This is my shop vac. This is highly recommended. If you have any kind of sewing machine or serger or overlocker, anything like that, you will benefit from these little tools right here that have this hose, that have a connection tool here, where you can get down deep into your machine. These are nice because they have brushes on the end and they have tiny nozzles that you can get deep into your machine. I'm about to show you my dirty machine. Let's go. So here's the current state of my serger, and it does not look good, right? There's fuzz all over, but the worst part is yet to come here. Let's take a look. Oh my word, that is bad. I bought my serger about 2 years ago now, and I don't know if I knew it from the very beginning or not, but I didn't know that you had to oil it regularly. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, luckily, it hasn't given me any problems at all in that 2 years, so let's get busy. First, we're going to snip off all of the spools, the thread there, and take them all off. Be sure to unplug your machine so that you don't get hurt during the cleaning. Take your little tool that came with your serger and take both of your needles out. You can also take your presser foot off at this time as well. Here I'm just letting all the threads loose. I'm lessening the tension up top as well, and my presser foot is in the up position when I do this, and I'm just getting all that extra thread out of there. Here I'm taking the stitch finger out. Here I'm using a mini vacuum set. Now this connects right to my small shop vac that I have already, which makes this ideal for getting in those tiny crevices on a serger or sewing machine. And it has brushes with it, it has little nozzles, and it really is ideal. So I suggest that you get one if you don't have one. I have read some experts say that canned air is not good to blow into your machines. So it's better to extract it rather than to blow it in. I think this is the safer way to go. Here I'm going to take the knife off so I can get a little deeper into my machine. The more you can suction out of your machine, the better. Here I'm referring to my manual, and it shows the 2 hot spots that I need to make sure to oil. Here I'm pointing to what the picture was referring to. I would have preferred to had a long straw type deal on the end of this oil can or oil bottle, but I didn't have that, so I went ahead and just did the best I could to drop the oil in there. But if you have that straw extender, that's probably best. You'd be more precise in where you wanted your oil to go. And every time I oiled, I just would roll the hand wheel toward me to go ahead and let that oil go through all the mechanisms. The oil I'm using is a Singer sewing machine oil. Now, any universal sewing machine oil will work. Here I've taken a dry cloth and just tried to get some of the dust away. Here I'm going to reinsert the knife. After I've inserted the knife, I just turn the wheel toward me to make sure everything is functioning properly. Now I'm going to take the stitch plate off and take a look at what's in there. Oh my, it's bad. I had no clue that it was this bad inside. Here again, I'm going to grab the mini vac tools. They are awesome. And I'm just going to sweep around and just suction all of that fuzz out of there. Take your time and just see that you get every crevice that you possibly can get. Be sure to oil anything that has any movement whatsoever. This would only help your machine. I'm putting the stitch plate back on here, being sure that it is tight. I'm going to reinsert my stitch finger and pop it right in where it goes. If you forget where your stitch finger goes in, just take a look at the little arrows that match up. They're color-coded. Even vacuum up the bottom of your machine where it sits and get every crevice. Now, I don't use the Lysol wipes normally on my machine, but I am going to do that today. I'm just going to lightly wipe it down and then take a dry cloth over it just to get any residue that might be left. A damp, wet cloth will also do the trick as well. Turn it around and get the back and get all the little dust bunnies everywhere. Here I'm going to use some woolly nylon in my upper looper. In the rest, I'm going to use polyester. First, we are going to thread the green. We're going to put it through that metal area. Then we're going to put it right through the tension area. You see I'm taking my finger there, pressing it to the side in order to let that thread come freely through. All you have to do here is just match up the color green in the pictures and just follow it just like it says to do. Now on my particular serger, I have to thread the needles myself, the upper and the lower loopers. And right here, I'm doing the upper looper. That woolly nylon you can see is a bit fuzzy. Now we are going to thread the lower looper. And again, you're going to put it through the metal piece up top there, and then you are going to slide the tension aside on that white button right there. That allows the thread to freely go through. And then again, you're just going to follow the blue color in the manner that it says to do. On step number 9, you see I pull that lever out. It was in and I pulled the arrow out. Now, the thread goes right in the back there and it catches, and then you push it back in. And you will feel a little click there, and you know that it's in there right. And now here I'm going to just thread the lower looper through. Tweezers could come in handy at this point, so that way you can just grab that thread and make sure it goes straight back and it doesn't tangle on anything. Now before we thread the needles, we have to put the needles in. Yep, we do. So we're going to go ahead and hold them both together and push them up. Now there is a metal plate right above the tops of those needles, and you need to make sure that it is up there nice and snug. And I'll show you here in a second a close-up. There you go. You can see if I move it up and down, it actually hits in that area. Once you see that, you can go ahead and tighten your little tool that came with your machine. It's a little hex, I think. You can go ahead and just turn that, not super tight, but tight. Let's go ahead and thread our right needle now, and that is pink color coded. Take it through the metal piece in the top, then press your thread tension to the side with that white button and pull it down and over and just follow the numbers just like it says, and then you're going to manually thread the right-sided needle. When you pull that thread through the eye of the needle, you need to be sure that it flows freely. Sometimes it can tangle itself right at the eye. I'm not sure why or what happens, but it does, and it will mess you up. So make sure that it flows freely and it's not twisted. Now I'm going to thread the left needle, and it's the same thing that we did before. Through the metal, through the white button, push the tension, and then follow the numbers and thread your needle manually. Here I grab all the threads in my left hand and I'm turning the wheel toward me over and over and over again. I want to go ahead and chain my threads together to see if everything is working properly. I have plugged my machine back in and I'm ready to give it a go. I'm holding my chain stitch there and pulling only very gently with my foot on the pedal, and here you can see it made a really good stitch. The real test is to put some fabric in there and see how it performs. Looks good to me. We're all good to go now. Only one thing left to do. Let's go ahead and lower our thread arm and get our cover and cover up our serger. The less dust that gets inside of our serger means the less dust that we'll have to clean and maintain. Until next time on the Sewing Channel, take care.